And you're watching the 505 on Racing Show. Tonight, we're going to talk about the updated drivers list changes for the Cup Series, as well as a little story about Justine Bonsignore, who is becoming the power to be on the Nascar Whelen Modified Tour when we come back.
Inravio.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Hello.
Hey, yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, but we're back in the saddle. We're doing good. Ready to talk racing again. Not a lot going on. I know the top three series had their awards banquets this last week, and it was kind of different than in past, as with COVID-19 out there's a lot of changes in protocol and how many people could be there and how many people have to watch outside or catch it on TV. But that went well. But there's a lot of changes coming for 2021 in the Cup Series, at least team-wise. We got Alex Bowman. He'll be going to the 48 team at Hendricks Motorsports. He'll be taking over for retiring Jimmy Johnson. Clint Boyer will move to the broadcasting booth with Fox after a 16-year Cup career. He's been doing the Xfinity races.
Honestly, I just don't know that, he seems like a young guy to me. I'm boggled that he's been there that long.
Yeah, 16 years in the series. The announcer's booth is getting filled up with former drivers. You got Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Gordon.
I know, right?
Burton.
So at some point, we're going to have an announcers race?
Oh, yeah.
Going to have to, right?
There'll be more announcers at race than guys on a racetrack.
That would be funny.
Christopher Bell, he moves to Joe Gibbs Racing's number 20 after leaving Levine Family Racing. Chase Briscoe remains with Stewart Haas Racing, but he will leave the 98 and move over to the 14 car, which I don't, it's the same car, just different skin on it. But for points purposes and owner points, they have to do that. Ross Chastain, he moves from the Xfinity Series, where he drove the 10 car for Kraus Racing, and he goes to Chip Ganassi. Chip Ganassi, that's a guy from Long Island. Coming over.
Nice Jewish boy, Kanowski.
To the 42 car. Ty Dillon, he is without a ride in 2021.
Really?
Yeah, he drove for Germain Racing and was number 13 last year in 2020. Germain shut down. Can't afford to do it anymore, so they shut it down.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? There's going to be a story like that because, look what this is doing. If you can't get the results from your sponsors, for your sponsors,
right,
then what do you do if you can't get sponsors to advertise on your car?
Exactly.
Really, ultimately, that's what they're doing.
Exactly.
They say sponsors, but that means they want to advertise on your car. They want a return on investment.
Of course.
That's kind of what we were talking about here with, car owners and drivers calling in for an interview. Do something for your sponsor. Do something good.
Exactly.
That's going to be starting in the first of the year. So while we're on that, sorry to interrupt you, but while we're on that, drivers, team owners, and crew members, I got to read right here. Get a free 10-minute interview right here live on the 505 on Racing Show. You can't beat this if you want to get exposure for your current sponsors or sponsors that may be coming. We reach over 20,000 people a week. That's awesome, and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. So just message us on Facebook and put in interview, and we'll get back to you, and we'll set you up at a date. There's only so many dates, so don't hesitate.
Don't miss out.
Don't miss out. There's only so many dates, and then once we get back to racing, then the interviews are going to be going because you guys are going to be busy racing. And
it's like your local short track. If the gates close when you're rolling up there.
Yeah, and this is something awesome. If you have a potential sponsor and you're going to email them something, and you put the fact that you were on this show talking about your sponsors, put a little link, which we're going to give you for that, for your sponsors to check out. That's great. That's awesome. You know, they want to know that more than they want to know how much it's going to cost to sponsor so you can get how many tires. They don't want to know that.
And beer for your crew.
And beer for your crew. You got to have the beer.
Gotta have the beer.
Simple.
Oh, well. Eric Jones, he will vacate the 20-car Joe Gibbs Racing to replace Bubba Wallace at Richard Petty Motorsports in the 43. Corey LaJoie leaves the 32 of Go Fast Racing and moves into the 7-car of Spire Motorsports with help from Chip Ganassi. Why can't I say that name today?
Ganassi. You're screwing me up now. Ganassi.
I'm sorry about that, Chip. And for the cars, and Hendrick Motorsports for cars and engines. Kyra Larson leaves Chip Ganassi. I said it right. It's the 42, and he will go to Hendrick in the 5-car. Kyra Larson returning from his leave of absence, suspension, whatever you want to call it.
So to speak, yeah.
But he's back, and he'll be fine. B.J. McLeod, he did assorted part-time rides in 2020 in the Cup season. He will be going full-time in the 78 car of Live Fast Motorsports, and he is also co-owner of Live Fast with Formula driver Matt Tifft. Daniel Suarez leaves the 96 of Gaunt Brothers and moves into the 99 of Trackhouse. And Bubba Wallace, he leaves the 43 of Richard Petty Motorsports, which is no news, to drive the 23 owned by 2311 Racing. Trackhouse Entertainment Group, that team. Who and what is Trackhouse Motor Group? The Justin Marks owns organization, Trackhouse Entertainment Group, will field the 99 car for Daniel Suarez, as we said earlier. The organization has an operational alliance with Richard Childress Racing. So, you know, you're seeing these lesser funded teams with help from Childress, Ganassi, Hendrick, Gibbs.
You know, with the climate that there is today, you know, you're telling me all of this stuff. I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm saying to myself, what is this new season going to look like? Because this thing doesn't seem like it's going away across the country. It's blossoming across the country.
Yes.
You know, where here in New York, we were lucky enough to hunker down and we kicked this thing in the butt and we knocked it down to like nothing. And now all of a sudden in New York, our numbers are going back up.
Yeah.
And across the country, the numbers are going up. So what is this going to look like for racing across the board? Well, you know, you can make all the plans you want. You know, man plans, God laughs, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. We're going to talk about that a little later when we talk about the tour scheduling. But you're absolutely correct. And you know, I mean, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a medical person. But I got to say that there's more people being tested, so the numbers are going to go up. And there's people getting tested 2 and 3 times. The numbers are going to go up. I'd rather see a percentage instead of raw numbers because percentages are real. But I don't know. One of my employees once said to me when I was going over their numbers for their performance, she looked me straight in the face, and she was an older woman, older than me. And she said, liars figure and figures lie. I mean, it's all how you perceive it. And
well, yeah, the bean counters can hurt you and help you, but
exactly.
That's, you know, it's a, you know, we see that day in and day out.
Yeah, well, without a doubt.
And you know what? There's so many different things, and sometimes you just can't tell people what the difference is.
No.
You know, perfect example. We talked about it before the show with the advertisers, where people don't have the money to advertise. You know, and then if they do have the money, the good part about the internet and the bad part about the internet is the fact that we can actually see, because people are going to click through, so you can actually see right to the number who goes to a website. Right. And where they're coming from.
Right.
That you day. Know, to whatever day, to the second. Yeah. You know, what minute they were there, what second they were there, what day they were there, what time of day. You know, and that's, I guess, good and bad for us. But at the same token, when you're dealing with a radio station or you're dealing with a TV studio that broadcasts, you know, say Cablevision or something like that, they can't find those numbers. Unless there's a specific link, right, which links don't work on radio or TV, no, or even a phone number. They remember the name and then they'll look for you on the website or something like that. So you don't know where people are coming from. But when you're on the internet sitting in front of a computer watching us and clicking on a link, it's cut and dry. Oh, yeah. Either you got it or you don't. You know, and here's the example, you know, like a local radio station here says they're broadcasting to 250,000 people, which is correct. Their broadcast audience is 250,000 people, but that's their circle of people around them. That doesn't mean that every one of those 250,000 people are listening to that one radio station at any given time.
Yeah.
So that be said, if that's the case, then that means our listening audience is, what, 7.8 billion people?
Yeah, listening to the world.
The world, our broadcast circle, if you will, is the world.
It's the world, yeah.
So I guess that's who's listening to us.
Exactly.
Go figure.
Anyway.
How come we can't get those prices? That's what I want to know. Give me $1 for each billion. Each person in that billion.
I'll take 50 cents. Anyway.
Right?
We had discussed the next gen car in the Cup Series. Another test is being set up. It'll be a 2-day test with Chris Bruscher behind the wheel. The test is scheduled for tomorrow and Wednesday at the Daytona International Speedway.
Is that televised?
Yeah.
Is that televised?
You know,
I'd love to see that.
I haven't seen anything advertised on it, but who knows? They didn't televise the ones from Charlotte. There was no footage.
I mean, there'll be a
that they
camera
showed.
there, whether they televise it
without
or
a
not.
doubt,
You might find it somewhere. You might find little snippets here and there.
Yeah, because I know at Charlotte there were cameras all along the racetrack, because every time the car made a move, they were able to look at the video and
To
see
see
what was
what it was
going
doing,
on
yeah.
and bring it in, adjust, send it back out.
Because that's going to be interesting, an electric car.
Yeah, yeah. The jury's out in my court on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, I would, you know, I'm sitting here for what, a couple hours, a week? But I got to tell you, these NASCAR guys, they're doing this 24/7.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
guess they gave it a lot of thought, huh?
Oh yeah, but
They weren't having a hot dog down at the stand. They goes, you know what I think we should do?
Oh, beans.
Beans, yeah.
But
Beans.
here's my thing with this. Why are they going to an electric car? To save energy, correct?
I don't know. Is that why they're doing it?
Well, yeah, that's what they're saying, but you got to plug it in to charge it up.
So it's going to cost you energy. Well, here's my thought. I mean, and don't get me wrong, you know, I mean, I love racing the way it is. You got to have the loud, you got to have the motors, you got to have the smell. I mean, just everything about it. I
Right.
mean, it's perfect the way it is. But you said it before, and I agree with you 100%. We're racing on technology that's from the 1950s.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
You know what I mean? And we're, with the production cars and with the NASCAR and the stock car, and when you think about the history of it and everything else, it's always been because, these are the cars that you could buy, win on Sunday, sell on Monday.
Sell on Monday,
You
yeah.
can't do that now.
Can't do that.
It's a totally different animal.
Exactly.
So we got all of these, lack of a better way to say it, all these foreign cars, out there that aren't included in what we're doing with this NASCAR race thing. Maybe NASCAR's going on. We got to get a jump ahead of this because we're kind of behind.
Yeah.
I mean, because unless they start another series and have all the rice burners out there running, I mean, what else are you going to do?
Well, it's funny. When I was back in my NASCAR days, I was down in Concord at the R&D Center, and they have all the stock production cars that came out of the factory sitting there. Then they had the Cup car that matched it for the templates and all that. And the only thing that really, in my opinion, from the eye, that matches the trunk deck, the angle of the rear window, the roof, the angle of the windshield, the hood. Everything else was cookie cutter. And I'm sitting there, and I said to my boss at the time, I said, I got to ask you a question. I said, there's the Camry. There's the NASCAR Camry. I don't know of any two-door Camrys or any rear-wheel drive Camrys. So how are you saying that's a Camry? I said, because we said it's a Camry.
Well, that's their fine line. They don't have a choice. I mean, it's funny the way you say it, absolutely. But from a business standpoint, if you're trying to get other people involved and they don't have a production car that's going to fit your criteria, you don't have a choice but to kind of stretch that a little bit. And ultimately, do they slap an Acura sticker on something or a Lexus sticker on something? At some point, maybe Toyota said, okay, we can get away with that. But some of these other companies are probably, saying, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Which it doesn't make sense for us. And if they're leaving that kind of money on the table, especially in today's climate where who knows what this next season's going to bring. You got to try something. I'm going to say that they're smarter heads than us over there.
I'm thinking.
This. You know,
I'm really thinking.
I mean, really, what do you do? I mean, and you know, just because they're trying an electric car doesn't mean it might work.
Right.
You know, they say, I don't know. I'm talking out of my butt. I mean, what do I know? But they have to include some of these other car companies because, you know, the years gone by where they're junk. Nobody cares about. They do. They're selling cars.
Yeah.
These people are selling cars.
They're selling cars.
You've got, you know, the Kias and, you know, but the Hyundais and all the rest of these foreign cars that are out there. Yeah. Volkswagen, could you imagine, you know, you had Herbie driving in the car, right? But I mean, you know, still,
I don't know how I went through the templates, but you know,
Herbie was good.
And Herbie was good.
They didn't have the template for he passes.
He passes, he's good, let it go.
He gave you a little ging, ging, and he left, right?
Volkswagen paid us a lot of money and let them run, let them go.
But that's it. I mean, what do you do to
true.
include the rest of these people?
Yeah. Yeah, well, Joe Cicella, you're saying the electric car costs more because materials needed for batteries. There you go. But I'm going to say this before we go on break. You're plugging it into an outlet.
You're using power to charge it.
Using power, and the power is generated with fossil fuel. So
it's the same thing.
It's a deception. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Justine Bonsignore, who is being touted as one of the greats in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, with all the others that came and went along the way. When we come back.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, what's
set it
oh,
up.
I said was gonna say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're set it up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
You keep your car tuned up and well maintained, right? Why? Because preparation and maintenance keeps your investment running perfectly. But are you doing the same for your largest investment, your home? Right now, homeowners can take advantage of a free home energy assessment sponsored by PSEG Long Island. Our experts will check your home for energy waste and help you get utility and state rebates and incentives, making your home healthier, more valuable, and more efficient, saving you money. This limited time offer won't last, so get to greenteamny.com/5off5on and sign up for your free home energy assessment now.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
Hey, welcome back. So, yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, we saw the Green Team commercial there. I got to say, I called them up and I had them come into my house, and these guys can do virtual or they can come down and check out your house. It's awesome because they give you some great ideas to save some money, and I am definitely a saving money kind of guy. And they save you thousands. And a lot of, you know, it's a free estimate. It's something through PSEG, and it's going to certify your house that the house is green. So whether you keep it, you sell it, it's just something else to add onto the value of your house. It costs you nothing. The good part is they'll walk you through it, and they'll take a quick walk through the house, and they'll tell you what they can do to save you money. And it's all simple stuff. You're not rebuilding your house here. But at the same token, you know, a lot of these things are paid for by rebates and grants from PSEG because they have to do this. You know, like they're giving you the solar panels and stuff, which is a kind of a large cost. But they can do this solar panels as well if you want. But we're not talking about thousands of bucks. Small things that you can do to save a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And I was, you know, after I did the whole thing, I got a whole case of LED light bulbs as a thank you from PSE&G after they came and walked through the house
Okay.
and did the deal. So I got all these light bulbs, and I can go and replace, I have LEDs already, but I can go and replace light bulbs where I might not have them. And I got backups.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It didn't cost me a dime.
Right.
Didn't cost me a dime, and it's saving me money.
So there you go.
So yeah, give them a call. The link is in the chat there. So
Yeah.
just go on there, follow that link, and they'll walk you through it. It's very simple. It's very easy. 30 minutes, done.
Done. And if you're uncomfortable with people having come into your home,
They can do it virtual.
they do it virtual. Absolutely.
They can do it virtual, and you still get the same credit. Again, you get certified. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They can say, hey, your house is rated well, whatever, and here you go.
Yeah.
If you're selling, it drives the cost of the house up.
It sure does. Anyway, NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. A lot of greats came out of that series over the years. Its inception started in 1985.
Had that discussion with somebody on the phone today, as a matter of fact.
Did you really?
I certainly did, just about a half hour ago.
Yeah, and they did that to simplify, because you got your national points. If you raced at this track, that track, all the points counted, and it was an accounting nightmare for the cookie, cutter people down in NASCAR. They were getting all these race results and they figured out who raced in what. So they simplified it, made a touring series. The points only counted there. 1985 it started. But when you talk about the Whelen Modified Tour standouts over the years since 1985, you think of guys like the late Mike Stefanik, Doug Covey, Tony Hirschman, Jimmy Spencer, Donnie Lear. These drivers won multiple championships in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. And after a dominating 2020 season, add Justine Bonsignore to that list. A native Long Islander, Bonsignore has gone to and raced with some of these legends during his career. Now he's becoming a modified legend of his own. Bonsignore's average finish in 2020 was 2.7. Average finish. Never finished out of the top 5. And it stands as the best average finish by any Tour champion in its 35-year history. Car owner Ken Massa has fielded cars for Bonsignore for 11 years. Now, when I met Ken Massa at a go-kart event here on Long Island, Tom Bonsignore said, hey, I got a guy that's looking to get involved. He wants to put Justin in his car. Can you talk to him about the tour? Now, at the time, I was the tower safety director. Had moved over from being a race director, so I had a little bit of knowledge about the series. So Ken Massa comes over to me, and we're talking, and he said to me, what's it going to take to field a competitive car in a tour? I said, a lot of money. He says, I got that. He goes, what is it going to take to be competitive? Race every race, work hard, don't wreck it. This way you're going to spend your nights in the shop making it better instead of putting it back together. He goes, what do you think about Justin Bonsignore? Now, his father standing right there. Not that I would have said anything derogatory, because I've known Justin since he's knee-high to a grasshopper. And I said to Ken Mass, I said, Ken, whatever this kid is driven, he's won in. You can't go wrong. Put the right team behind him, and you'll be fine. I didn't hear another thing of it until the season opened, and here comes Ken Massa with Justin Bonsignore driving for him. Now, it wasn't all sprinkles and cherries in the beginning, like with
It
any
never
team coming
is.
in.
There's always some growing pains.
And there was some growing pains with crew chiefs, because some crew chiefs had their way of doing things. And, the crew chief and the driver and the owner have to be one. They have to be one. They have to be on the same page. You can't have two on the same page and one on the outside. They got to be on the same page, and I think they found that combination. So this kid, I'll tell you what, he missed going into the top series just by a handful of years, because if this opportunity would have came 15 years ago, he may be one of those guys in the truck series, in the Xfinity series, because they're not putting 30-year-olds in those rides anymore. They're 16 and 17 and 18-year-olds.
They're young kids, yeah.
They're young kids, and I'll tell you, class act when you see them at the teams as car owner. Ken Mass, like I said, always smiling, always appears to be having a good time. And if he's not, nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. And Justin, he's got the look. He's competitive. He's intense, but he knows how to play the fans, so to speak. And that's another big thing, because you could have greats in any series, but if they don't connect with the fans, it takes a lot of the fun out of it. And let's face it, nobody's getting rich racing. A lot of us do this because it's a fun time and it's a good thing. So
Yeah.
This kid is the guy to beat now.
It's great that he's able to do that. And, there's got to be somebody else that comes up to replace some of the older guys who have,
Absolutely. And, over the years,
stepped aside, moved down, whatever.
there's always somebody, that's come on board that's, not that they've pushed the other guys out and missing in that list, in my opinion. And that list came from NASCAR.
There's a lot more people in that list that we
but,
talk about all the time.
You look at multiple time champions.
Charlie Jazambak.
Yeah, but he didn't really run the tour. He was still on that old.
He was still on the old slate.
He died in '85, along with Richie Evans. So
You got Teddy Christopher in there.
Ted Christopher, he didn't win a lot of championships. He won one, but he won races.
But they were a mainstay. I mean, these are names
Absolutely.
I mean, how do you not know Baldwin?
Oh,
Tommy Baldwin.
right.
Tiger
Never
Tom
won a
Baldwin.
championship, but everybody knew of him.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody
he was in
knew
it
Tom
because he was
Baldwin.
in it. Yeah, Tiger Tom
You know,
Baldwin.
and
The
I-
7NY.
7NY. And I had a lot of fun with Tom Baldwin while I was in the series with him. And I knew Tom Baldwin from his days running here on Long Island. And it was kind of funny. Not that it was funny, but if he didn't make a tour race, he would call Big Bob O'Rourke, coming down. Open the pit gate for me, I'm coming. And he would say in a joking way, but people took it wrong. Sweep that outside groove, because that's where I'm running tonight, And Tom Baldwin would come and he'd put on a nice show for the fans. And I'm going to share a story with everybody. And I may have told this years ago, but when I was the race director, I was going up to Stafford, and I get on the ferry, and I realize my uniform's not hanging up. 2-day show, so I have a Friday uniform and a Saturday uniform. It's not hanging up. So I call home. Why NASCAR clothes hanging on the coat rack? Yep. I'm like, I don't have time
To go back.
Go across the New London and come back to Orion, drive to Babylon, then redo it
They
again.
had no spares?
Oh, no. Well, I always had my clothes tailored so they didn't look stupid on me, so, because it was one size fits all pretty much, So I'm calling, who still might be on the island? I call Greg Shivers. Oh, they already left. I call Hagee, gone. Who's still there? I don't know. Let me call Baldwin. Steve Halpin picks up the phone. What do you need? I said, you guys driving around or taking it for a while? We're going to drive around. If my wife meets you at the Parker ride on the expressway, can you guys stop? And she has my uniforms for tomorrow and the next day. Yeah, not a problem. All right, so I'm wearing my regular street clothes. I get to the track on Saturday morning. Who walks in the pit gate wearing my uniform? Tom Baldwin. He walks in, and everybody's like looking. Comes into our hauler. He's going through papers, makes a cup of coffee. Tommy, what are you doing? Drivers, what are you doing? He goes, I can't beat these guys. I might as well join them. They thought he became an official. Well, old man Bryce and Ed Cox, they call me into the office. Joe, of all the guys, you asked to bring a uniform. You had to ask Tom Baldwin? We would have been happier if you just came in street clothes. But he did it for effect, to have
fun,
a good
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And people took it wrong. I'm still laughing about it this day. It's almost 10 years later.
It's fun.
We had a good time. But when you look at the guys who come along the way, like I said, Todd Zagerty, Tony Hirschman, who was listening in that listing, when they moved on, somebody else came in. And it's not like any of these guys moved on to anything big and bad, except for maybe Jimmy Spencer. Donnie Lee ran in the truck series for a while. Jimmy Spencer, as we all know, moved up to the Cup Series, then ended up announcing. So you look at these guys, and now when you say these names, it's Justine Bonsignore now. And 10 years from now, he'll be the guy that everybody's talking about. You know, and I'll tell you what, when I first entered the tour in 2002 as an official, anybody that came from Long Island, they were considered the Wrong Island gang.
Well, I know that.
The Wrong Island gang.
I was at Charlotte, and Jimmy Spencer was driving by, and he asked me something, and I told him, I forget where we were, it was in the infield, we was there for a race, and I said, yeah, man. And he says, you're a Yankee. He's good to see another Yankee here, but he knew that was going to be a hard road right there.
And when
we would add a whole week, so it was like every time he passed me, he goes, damn Yankee.
When I look back on that, you know, a lot of the guys came from Jersey, and we called them the Bryce people, and a lot of people came from New England, the Massachusetts, Connecticut area. But anybody that came from Long Island, they got their chops busted. The fine-tooth comb came out during tech. But when you look back, you had Tom Baldwin, Sr., he was a buster. You know, he was a buster when he went to take his car. You had J.R. Bertuccio. That speaks for itself because it was two ways to do things, JR's way and the wrong way, except NASCAR looked at it, no, it's our way. So that was always a situation. So anybody that came out of Long Island, they put them with, like, Baldwin, J.R. Bertuccio. Like, they were bad guys. And Riverhead was just a little tight little bull ring. They weren't racing on real tracks like Stafford's, 5.8s or Thompson's,
Yeah.
They didn't race on real racetracks.
It's still a tough track.
Exactly. So, it's reversed.
What did Frankie say? If you can't make it in New York, you can't make it anywhere.
Can't make it anyway. Exactly. So, and I'll tell you what, I wish Ken Massa and his team and Justine Bonsignore just all the success in the world going into 2021, and hopefully we can get back to some kind of racing normal, if there is one.
Something close to normal, yeah.
Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour schedule, which was released since we last aired. When we come back.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8, Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hi, I'm Remington. I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
Hey, this is Chris Less Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV Network.
And we are back.
We're back.
Well, hey, just to say, last thing with the holidays, if you're looking for a really good gift for any family member, especially with what we're going down this road here with this looking like we might go back to lockdown, or you want something to be safe, at Village Music Shop, you can be safe, you can have fun, you play music. So whether live or virtually online or masked safely at home and social distance in person, we have music lessons for all ages and styles and levels from beginner to advanced. Also, they added classes for recording technology, music production, and the art of DJing. So Village Music Shop Online University has you covered. You can give them a call at 1-800-HEY-DUDE, or you can message them to get started today. And they have all the instruments. So if you need a guitar starting at $79 for an acoustic guitar, comes with 2 free private lessons. You can do Zoom lessons. It's a great gift for anybody in your family. And, of course, guitars, amps, drums, flutes, clarinets, saxophones, violins, violas, all the band instruments. So they have all your needs met. So give them a call.
Okay, beauty. Anyway, last week, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour schedule was announced for 2021. They will have 14 races across 6 states from Maine to Virginia. The season opener is April 8th at the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia as part of a NASCAR Cup Series weekend. Also as part of a Cup weekend events, the tour will be at Virginia Richmond Raceway on September 10th and at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway on July 17th. Connecticut Stafford Motor Speedway, which has hosted 132 races since the tour's inception in 1985, will have 3 events. Long Island will see 3 events at the Riverhead Raceway on May 15th and June 19th and September 18th. Riverhead Raceway has hosted 64 events since 1985, none, however, in 2020 due to COVID-19. In addition to the tour's first race at the New York International Raceway in upstate Lancaster, New York, that'll be in July 31st. The upstate region will also have a pair of races at Oswego Speedway, June 12th and September 4th. Beach Ridge Motor Speedway in Scarborough, Maine will have a tour race for the first time since 2005 with an August 21st event. The tour has run this 1/3 mile over 5 times between 1995 and 2005. Missing from the schedule is longtime supporter of the tour, Thompson Motorsports Park, a staple since 1985, having sometimes 5 races in one season.
I thought they were on the schedule.
Nope, not for 2021.
Not for
They have
2021.
opted out. They are having open modified races.
Right, well, we got the Icebreaker. That's going to be modified.
Yeah, but it's not the tour.
It's not the tour,
It's
though.
going to be the open. It's going to be the open. The Thompson 300 will be an open modified race as well.
Okay.
Donald Honing, the former owner of the racetrack, he had, I guess, giving or sold or whatever, he gave the facility to his grandsons, who only ran or scheduled 6 NASCAR events, weekly events last year. And of course, with the COVID-19, their schedule got a little bombarded. But they are doing more with leasing the track to clubs, because they built a road course in there. They built a nice garage that holds, I believe, 32 teams. And it's almost like they are turning their back on NASCAR. And I don't understand that. And
Now, wasn't there, I thought there was some talk about them going to Waterford at some point.
Waterford, because through RaceDayConnecticut.com, NASCAR will not run at the New London Waterford Speed Bowl due to the legal issues that the owner has with child trafficking and prostitution
and whatnot,
porn. So they do not want to be associated with the New London Waterford Speed Bowl, who would love to have an event. Would love to have an event.
Yeah, I know they put some new stands in there. They did a whole lot of work. They rebuilt the whole place right up there.
They did everything that the town asked them to do. And
Now, I thought he was acquitted from that.
that's still going on.
Is that still going
That's
on?
still going on, yeah. Which
Now,
is
they're asking, when are they going to be at Richmond?
Richmond, let's see, let me go back in my notes here. They will be in Richmond. I think I remember this. They will be in Richmond September 10th to be in Richmond.
September 10th.
So that was always a nice place to go when the tour was running there. But you look at the Thompson Motorsports Park and Donald Honig, when he owned the place and ran the place, he insisted on the first race, the Icebreaker, and on the last race, the World Series. My other 2 or 3 shows, we'll figure it out. But there's nothing to figure out now. They from what I understand,
Everything's up in the air with this, what's going on. And I was thinking about it driving here, and I'm saying to myself, really, when will I feel comfortable going back to a race?
Yeah.
When will I feel comfortable going to a concert or to any main event? Any big event where I'm going to be outside, and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, getting close to doing a retirement thing, and I'm thinking, it could be some things I could do. And I'm thinking, but when will I feel comfortable going to these places and doing these things?
Right. Yeah.
Again. At all. I don't even know. We might. I might not.
Yeah.
And they may say, we're in the clear, come on out. But I don't know. Will I feel comfortable doing it? I don't know. It's really hard to say.
It is. And I know when I went up with the vintage car and I ran up with Bethel, the stands were packed, the pits were packed. And you had to wear your mask, unless you were in your own hauler, then you didn't have to. And they had no problems. They could run. They had a permission, approvals, whatever.
But that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it safe.
Now,
you got to use your own brain when it comes down to this. And after I said to you, hey, I'll go with you,
right.
There were a couple of factors in mind.
Yeah.
Well, one about.
Yeah.
And then, and then the other thing was, I'm going to be in a truck with you guys going up there. And then you're going to be around how many people? You got to think about these things. When you're going to be on lockdown and try to stay away from people, because this thing just doesn't tickle you sometimes. This thing kills you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I see too many, at one point I had to get off of Facebook because it was bad.
Depressing. Yeah, I stopped watching News 12 because
it was bad.
It's every 14 minutes there was a whole big thing about it.
I know. It's like, yeah.
But anyway, but what I was getting to it with Bethel, having a packed grandstand, packed pit area, 2 exits down the thruway was Middletown, Orange County Fair Speedway, and the state would not allow them to run. You're 10 minutes away.
It's the same state.
Off the same highway.
So in other words, what you're telling me is they just didn't know that Bethel was doing what they were doing.
They had to know. It was advertised all over the place.
How did they know?
They had to know. They had to know.
But it's the same state.
Please. Then I go to a local racetrack, Riverhead. Their website says no fans in the stands, and you go there and it's
fans
a
in the
normal
stands.
crowd. But the website says none. So
anything you can do under the radar, I guess.
They were having a peaceful protest or something. I don't know because
maybe that's what it was. But that again, the idea here is you got to use some common sense because these things scare me.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to be up against.
Yeah.
You really don't.
I know. And that leads a good segue into the next segment because
moving right along.
The Wall Stadium management is unhappy with NASCAR, according to a published report in RaceDayConnecticut.com. Wall Stadium operations manager Emily Krause recently said that track management is focused on getting a new operating contract in place with the property owners. The Krause family has leased the facility for the last 10 years. NASCAR has been pushing Wall to schedule a tour race. But due to the uncertainty, the Krause family could not commit to 2021.
Understandable.
Series director Jimmy Wilson was pushing the Krause family, according to Emily, to allow another promoter to come in and rent the facility for the weekend. The Krause family called that suggestion insulting because they've been promoting races there not only the last 10 years, but
understandable, but if they don't have the wherewithal, that happens a lot. Actually, that's commonplace today in a lot of places.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of places.
Their issue is they don't want to sign a contract with NASCAR to put on a show.
Understandable, because
To
you got
have the state tell them they can't race.
Well, you also have to guarantee the money, but you also have to have an escape clause. I mean, in today's climate, if you're going to do anything, everything has to have a COVID escape clause.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, we just did an event where I thought it was going to be, with Ultimate Media, which is the parent company of Inravio, and I was a little concerned because, we're going to stream this live, and then as we're going along with this event that's normally a live event that was going to be streamed, all of a sudden now there was going to be this many people there and that many people there and this many people, and I'm like, how are you going to stop these people from coming to this event? After you've told them it's virtual, don't come.
Right.
It's going to be virtual, but don't come.
Right.
So I had to put an escape clause in there. They had to pay this much money, and if it didn't go down, we were out.
Yeah.
Because ultimately with the climate you have with this, you don't know what to expect.
Well, the other, it's
But
very.
just going back to the other promoter thing, that's happened in clubs for quite some time, where clubs don't have the money, let's say, because that's really what it boils down to. They don't have the money, the wherewithal, to be able to promote an event. So a lot of times, especially here on the island, there'll be other guys who will rent the club during the week because your insurance is paid, it's a club, the whole thing. They'll rent the club and do their own things.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the Krause family wants somebody coming into their home
does?
and telling them how to do business.
Who does? But they get a vig for them coming in too.
Yeah, it's like, they'd make more if they ran the show themselves.
Absolutely, but the question is, do you want to front that money?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
How much does it cost you to get the tour in there?
A lot of money.
Right.
But the pit fee is, and I'll go to the business side of NASCAR and racetracks. Your pit fees pay all your expenses for that event. Now, if the state comes down a week before and says, listen, you can only have 25%. Now, if you're looking to make, as Don Honig would say, Don Honig from the Thompson Motorsports Park would say, he'd look at me, he'd look at his crowd, and I'd say, there's a full freaking house here. I can't believe this. He'd say to me, I lost $100,000. Donald, how could you lose $100,000? Well, I thought I was going to make $400,000 this weekend. I only made $3. A lot of people have coats. They have coolers on the seats. Fannies need to be in those seats. That was his thing. So now here's a Wall, Stadium and Speedway down in New Jersey is going to have a tour race. They agreed, they signed, they agreed on the purse, the sanctioning, the whole bit, and then the state comes in a week before. You can only have 25% of your people.
Right.
And that's what NASCAR, what Jimmy Wilson, the series director, I don't think understood. Now, if you bring in an outside promoter,
he's going to have the same problem.
Exactly.
Right. Well, see, that's it. If they're looking for a guarantee, they can't get it in today's climate. Can't get it. There's got to be an out. There's got to be an escape clause.
So, and they don't even have, as they were saying, they're still negotiating with the property owners to open up in 2021. They had to cancel the Turkey Derby. That was canceled.
Yep.
And that's their big money maker for the year.
And they're pushing it off to the summer, possibly.
Well, originally they're hoping to have it the first weekend in January, but now that's not looking good.
No, it's not looking good.
So now they're looking at it sometime in the regular season, which just defeats the whole purpose of the Turkey Derby.
Yeah.
So what are you going to have it Memorial Day weekend and call it the Hamburger and Hot Dog Derby or the
Right.
Steak
And somebody's
Derby?
saying here that's projections versus actuals, and that's true.
That's
we
correct.
can definitely say you're going to pay for this with that and this.
Exactly.
But honestly, until it's all fleshed out, you don't know for sure.
You don't know for sure.
And it's a crapshoot.
Absolutely.
If they've never held a race before, I could definitely see them being gun shy. I would.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The question is, are you going to get the people? So you got to have some kind of a cushion.
Right. And at Wall, they've run tour races in the past, a packed house, good field of cars. They run their support divisions at the same time, so the pits are full, fans, the seats are full.
They've had tour before at Wall?
Oh, yeah.
So they've done it.
Yeah, they've done it. They know what they're doing.
So they know what they're doing. So
And
yeah,
that's
it's
why,
not the first time.
like the Krause family said that when, Jimmy Wilson suggested that another guy, and he had a guy, he was willing to come to your track and lease it for the day. They said, no, we know what we're doing. And they took that as an insult. So the negotiations are over. Have a good day, click. So it's, like you said, I'm sure there's an out clause, but look what happened in 2020.
I know.
So many of the races got canceled.
Yeah.
Some tried to postpone, but it ended up getting canceled. And then a couple of tracks stepped up and drew some events in. that didn't re-sign for 2021. So,
Russ
unfortunately,
Clark is saying that Bethel was allowed to run as it was essential to the economy of the area.
you know, I heard that. I didn't know if that was.
But that's still not an essential business.
No.
Essential to the economy, I don't think is really
but I
considered
heard
essential.
that.
You can say essential to the economy,
Right.
but it's still not an essential.
Yeah. When I had spoke to Tracy Chirico, the former operations manager at the racetrack, she told me the same thing, and I was like, "How is this essential? The economy needs it." And I don't know if you've ever been. You've been up there. But
Absolutely.
the fans, if you've ever been up to Bethel, it's in the middle of no place, next to
The middle of nothing.
and
Woodstock,
next to
which is in Bethel.
between White Lake, because it used to be called White Lake Speedway, and Woodstock, which is in the middle of nothing.
Which is in Bethel. It's a block over.
But the next traffic light. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how the season pans out. I know myself personally, I'm prepared to go to Martinsville for that Tour Cup Series weekend. And I asked the track what happens if it gets postponed or canceled. You know, will I get a refund? And they said, you have a couple options. You could apply those tickets to the fall race, or you can get a credit towards next year, or we could just send you a refund. So they were pretty generous with that. You know?
Yeah, everybody has to be at this point. I mean, there's not a lot to do.
Anyway, we're going to take a break, and we come back. We're going to wrap this up, have some NASCAR talk, some racing talk, and see
Isn't
what else.
that what we've been doing?
Yeah, we're going to have some more. So,
Oh, more.
You
More
know,
talk.
there's always more.
More talk.
I get paid a lot of money to just talk. You know?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Who pays you?
Ultimate Media, the parent company of Inravio.
Really?
When we come back, we'll still be laughing.
Don't cash that check.
I couldn't resist.
You keep your car tuned up and well maintained, right? Why? Because preparation and maintenance keeps your investment running perfectly. But are you doing the same for your largest investment, your home? Right now, homeowners can take advantage of a free home energy assessment sponsored by PSEG Long Island. Our experts will check your home for energy waste and help you get utility and state rebates and incentives, making your home healthier, more valuable, and more efficient, saving you money. This limited time offer won't last, so get to greenteamny.com/5off5on and sign up for your free home energy assessment now. Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop. 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Rich Weller. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're punching the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
What's up, guys? This is Assuming We Survive, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
I'm amazed that Justine Bonsignore with an average finish of 2.7. So I figured out my average finish for 2020, and it's 5th.
Do you need a scientific calculator for that?
5th. Well, I were in 5 races. I had a second, a 1st, a 5th, and a 10th. So when you add it up, it equals 20 divided by 5.
Not bad.
No, it's 4th. Because 20 divided by 5 is 4.
But there were only 4 cars in the race.
No,
Perfect.
at Stafford there was 20. At Riverhead
Really?
there was 12. at the second and the first was at Bethel. There was 18, 19 each one. Yeah.
Really?
And at Bethel, I lapped the field twice. Twice.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I was told that you don't go 3 wide at that racetrack. They came over and spoke to me. It was kind of funny. I was sitting at the end of the hauler, just having a nice cold water.
Eating a hot dog and
Yeah,
beans?
just sitting there.
At Bethel, right?
Yeah, and all of a sudden I see the club guys at the ACOT coming over to me with the NASCAR officials from Bethel. And I said, if this is at Riverhead, they're probably coming to tell me to leave. Because that's what happens to me when I go to Riverhead. I'm asked to go home. Actually, no, it's not. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay
here. Remove yourself from the premises.
Exactly. Immediately, if not sooner. So anyway, sometimes I deserve it, sometimes I don't. But anyway, they said, listen, you put on a good show for the fans, but we don't go 3 wide here because they are vintage cars and nobody wants to wreck them. Yeah, we race hard, but you're only allowed to pass on the inside. Okay, whatever. When I'm coming up to a guy where he's going into 1 and I'm coming out of 4, and then I'm up to his bumper before he gets out of 2, I got to pass him any way I can. So anyway.
Well, I understand exactly what you're saying, but it's you're in a different scenario now. These aren't guys that are looking to, win the race, to make the points, to win the series at the end of the year, and
there's
it's
only,
a different animal.
The only series is near the New England Auto Racers series. They predetermine their winners. Now, anytime I raced with them, I was never, picked.
Maybe you should join FAR.
Forget
about auto racing. Forget about auto racing altogether.
But I feel like every time I race with Near, I feel like I'm Rudolph. I can't play in their games, So anyway, and Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer.
Well,
not
you
Rudolph
see,
Giuliani,
you got to understand. You're used to being in a small bull ring and running that kind of a race.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily the case.
No.
When I had a guy who used to run the SCCA, so Sports Club of America, right? So I would, it was RCCA, Race Car Club of America. So I put I had a car, actually had a road course car. So I took my NASCAR road course car to Pocono to run on the road course in Pocono. They had to have a meeting to tell all the guys with the vets, the Corvettes, the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, and all the rest of these race cars. By the way, the car with the 52 on the door does not have any lights. Even though it looks like it's got brake lights, it does not have any brake lights. And one guy in front of me, he goes, "You're driving that 52?" He said, "If I see that coming, I'm getting the hell out of the way."
There you go.
That looks mean.
Yeah. But
but it's a different animal because they pass on the inside. You got to give them the high sign when you let them go by because they're running for time. So it's not you don't go by and give them a bump.
No,
they got a $250,000 Ferrari. You give them a little bump on the side.
Well, running style. I never raced on a track that side. Well, I ran TQs at Wall, but running full-blown modified at Stafford, I was like, wow. And you're going $130 down the straightaway. And I'm coming off the corner, and I see a faster car in the mirror. I'm like, all right, let me drop down a little bit. And some guy wasn't happy with that. He went on the grass, and he bumped me up. He bumped me, tried to fetch me.
Because he's trying to pass you on the inside.
If I was any more on the white line, I would have been in the dirt.
Because you were supposed to be outside.
Yeah, wow. He should have went that way.
It's different, right? See, when you're supposed to get the hell out of the way, racing, you're supposed to go to the white line, right? The move over flag.
Somebody once said to me, "You'll be in that position one day." Yeah, I was. What are you going to do? But anyway, we had some fun. But
that's good.
When you look at scheduling for 2021, I know they're redoing the motor in the car because we cooked it a little bit, and I'm like, all right, so we're doing this so it sits in the trailer because we don't know where we're going. We don't know who's racing. We don't know who's not racing. And I mean track-wise, and a lot of guys didn't race in 2020 because they weren't working or the businesses were closed.
Well, because of concerns of where you're going and what you're going to be around.
So
The question is, do you really want to go ahead and do that and take a chance?
Well, a lot of people think I'm nuts, but, and don't take me wrong. I take the right precautions. I wear a mask when I'm supposed to. I wash, I disinfect, I sanitize and all that kind of good stuff. I have a good temperature, and every time when they put the little thing on the top of my head, right, when I came in today.
Sure.
I had a good temperature.
But honestly, I'll tell you what. I know people that have had it, they didn't have a temperature.
I know.
I know people that have had it, and they were wearing a mask.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know people that have had it, and they were wearing a mask, and the people they got it from were wearing a mask.
I know people that never left their house.
And they got it.
So,
That's my point. Now, Gerald says they drive faster than 130 on Southern State Parkway. And he's right. I was just about to tell that story before that came up. I'm driving down Lakeland Avenue at 6:30-ish in the morning, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I see this car go by me like nothing. And I'm like, wait a minute, was that a modified? And then all of a sudden, I see him make a left-hand turn in front of me. I'm like, that was. So I go down the block, and there it is up on the trailer there.
Really?
He must have decided he was going to take it out for a quick spin around the block.
Was it orange?
Oh, I don't remember. It's so many years ago, I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
But it was on an open trailer. And he went by me like I was standing still, made a left, and and gone. And I was like, that looked like a race car.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there's a guy that was at Marty Heim's Museum of Nostalgia here, and he has a street legal modified, and I was gawking at it.
Oh, that one, yeah.
The 37 white, red numbers.
Nice.
I'm gawking at it, and he goes...
That's nice. That's Bill Murray.
Yes.
Nice car.
You want to take it for a spin? It's like, I can't even say what it's like. So we took it, we're on Sunrise Highway, and he goes, open it up. Oh, man. I didn't want to bring it back. And Frank Saladino, he's in our series with the vintage. He has a Richie Evans coupe, that street legal. And he drives around the neighborhood, goes room shopping with it, has 2 seats, but it's got the lights, the window, all the stuff so you could pass safety in an inspection.
You got to have little fenders over the tires.
Yeah, little fenders over the tires, treaded tires to
tires, right.
race, to drive around. So.
To race around.
So anyway, it's all good, but it's just, who knows what's going to happen, not only with racing, with sports, with business.
Everything in general.
I mean,
Life. I mean, and Joe Cicella says it, not all people understand that we still care, but we still want life to go on. But you know what? I tell people this all the time, and I wasn't around for this, and maybe I'm, blowing smoke, but I remember stories. My mother used to tell me, and back in World War II days, they'd come down the street with a horse and buggy, and anybody that had any kind of medal for the war effort, you were giving it to them. Yeah. So life was not the same during the war effort.
No, it wasn't.
And she remembers her father taking the cabinet doors off the kitchen cabinets because he could take the metal hinge off, and he was throwing that in the cart that was coming down the block to make bullets, to make planes, to make ships for the war effort. And everybody was inconvenienced back then. Yeah. But we did what we had to do in order to get through it and to do it right. And that's kind of what we got to do now. And Yeah.
Well, it's and I say this all the time, a little tongue in cheek. That we haven't had any reports of the Amish people coming down with this.
You've been listening to Gordon?
No. They just haven't. And do you know why?
Why?
They don't watch TV.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
So you're getting it from the TV, is that what it is? So watching radio 24/7, because you will not get COVID from us.
I couldn't resist. I'm only kidding. It's a serious subject, but I couldn't resist. I'm not going to get into my politics.
Well, when you think about it and you actually look at the numbers across the world, there's a lot of places that the numbers are very, very low. And you have to say to yourself, are they really reporting the right numbers?
Exactly. Well, are we really reporting the right numbers?
But I mean, I've talked to people, not that I know people from all over the world, but I've talked to people like from Poland and whatnot. And
you speak Polish?
I do not.
Oh, how do you speak to him?
A couple of words. He's here in the United States. I knew him. He used to work for me, and but he happened to call me just to say happy Thanksgiving, and we were talking. He says Europe's getting hammered.
Really?
Yeah. He says Europe's getting hammered with this thing, and they're on lockdown again.
Yeah.
But he knows people. He tried calling over there. He's got family over there and stuff. So.
And I. you know my feelings on this whole thing, but you know when the late Jim Kelly, the founder of Live Bars, Long Island Vintage Auto Racing, you know, was one of the first to come down with it. Hospitalized the whole bit. Hospitalized a long time. Came home, went back in. Came home, went back in, and he passed last month. And all of a sudden it was like, wow, that hit home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's somebody I know, and I was just talking to him a week before about, you know, the guy's 73 years old. It was like, you're 73 years old. I'm like, you're still going to race your car next year? Because if you're thinking or not, you know, maybe we could talk.
Putting the bid in already?
Oh, yeah. Oh, without a... Anyway, the control room's telling us they're on overtime.
Oh, okay.
So...
we've already overstayed our welcome.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to remove ourselves from the premises.
Yeah. That's happened to me a lot the last few months. Anyway, I want to thank everybody.
Take that as a note.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching
thank
tonight.
everybody.
Happy Hanukkah for our Jewish viewers. And we got one more weekend, and the next weekend is Christmas. So, you know, if you haven't finished getting your gifts and wrapping up your presents and buying things, visit our sponsor, the Village Music Shop.
Absolutely.
And, you know, even if they don't play a musical instrument, there's other gadgets you could get and have fun with.
Well, you know, they can start at any age. It doesn't matter.
Any age.
I mean, why not? We give you the instrument. We give you some lessons.
There you go.
They give you 2 lessons. That's $60 worth of lessons to get you started, at least, you know.
Yeah. There you go. Anyway, folks, have a great week. We'll definitely see you next Monday night, 7 o'clock.
God willing.
Yeah, God willing, exactly. And be safe. And that storm's going to hit the island in the Northeast this Wednesday into Thursday, so please be careful.
Be careful, yeah.
If you don't have to go out, don't go out. Stay home. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Inravio.com.